Well, the Sharks are officially eliminated. Does that mean we're done? Can we just cut out early and see you guys all in October? I don't know. Let's find out. Hey, everybody. Welcome in show 188 of the Pucknologists here on Teal Town, USA. Welcome back to your unfiltered, unedited, uncensored, commercial-free Sharks podcast. That is the Pucknologists here on Teal Town, USA. You can keep us commercial-free by using that super chat option during the live shows. Better yet, you can hit us up on Venmo. Find us at Teal Town, USA. Remember, if you're new to the cast, hit the subscribe button on any of the platforms we're now on. You gotta love this. We're now currently live not only on YouTube but also on Facebook, on Twitch, and on Twitter. So if one of those platforms works better for you, floats your boat, that's where we're at. But if you're an audio only person, which on some certain things I am, I got to admit, hey, hit the subscribe button there. And I got to say, tonight, the part of Hockey Jerk will be played by @IanBlogsHockey.
That's true. I've said this a few times. I may not be the hockey jerk, but I am a jerk. So I feel like it's okay. I can do this.
See, that's all that matters. So we're on all the social media platforms. So hit us up there if you like. If not, it's all good too. So, oh my Lord, what a week! What a week! What a week! My God, dude. Oh, the Columbus game, it was so close to being good. I don't know. Yeah. Sharks played 3 games this week, picked up 2 of 6 points, going 0-1-2. I don't even count the wins anymore. That's where we're at. 0-1-2 through 70 games. They got 52 points. Last in the Pacific, 31st out of 32nd. Blue Jackets 3 points behind with a game in hand. Get it together, man. Oh, and if memory serves, I think they got their asses handed to them by Vegas earlier today. This week, Sharks got a little lazy against Columbus. Saw a big breakdown against Seattle, and then a lack of response versus the Islanders. Other topics we're going to talk about, of course, include what to look forward. And there's a lot. With 12 games, we have a lot to look forward to. William Eklund got sent down. Of course, Agazino got called up, replacing Erik Karlsson in the offseason. Hopes for next season. Some takeaways from the GM meetings. A Barracuda check-in. Jordan Binnington lost it again. And a little bit more, but let's start with the battle for Bedard versus Columbus. Kakinen gets the start, and I will say, let's just start off here with what I thought was not the tweet of the week, but definitely a tweet worth looking at. When it came out about the Blue Jackets game, Curtis Pichelka tweeted out, amid lottery and Bedard chatter, Quinn summed up his team's approach versus Columbus. Quote, we're going to play our asses off tonight. Well, some smartass came along and said, let me fix that tweet for you and put, yeah, we're going to play ass tonight. And, for the first half of the game, I would say it started that way. I mean, dude, it was a weird back and forth, but somehow prophetic and poetic that you get eliminated this season in a loss that you lose to the one team in the league that's worse than you.
Yeah, dude.
It doesn't get any more prophetic.
No, it doesn't. It's pretty. I mean, I think I've been pretty much done with this team after that one blowout loss.
What, I'm sorry, could you be more specific? What, Edmonton 7-1, 6-0 against Colorado? I mean,
I don't know. I was on After Dark, and I'm trying to remember what show. Maybe it was the Colorado game. Because I remember being on After Dark, and I remember telling people that they should be done with this team. This team isn't worth watching at that.
I was going to say that, that's the game where it was it was the 3rd and 4 nights. They got in late.
It was Colorado. Yeah.
At altitude, there were all the excuses, and it's just
I was having none of them. I was having none of the excuses that night. But I've been pretty much I'm not like not completely checked out, but more so than I think I've been with the Sharks in a long time. Because again, like what are you watching for right now, right? Like
I just
Eklund's up, Eklund's gone.
entertain me.
Yeah, and there's been a couple of games where I think I've been entertained, but man, like I don't know, it's just hard when you're cheering for nothing. It's like, oh, they're winning, oh, that's bad. Like
That's the whole thing.
but it sucks though, man. Like it super sucks because there's nothing, like the trade deadline's over, so there's nothing really. All you're looking forward to now is just running out the clock on the season, and I think it sucks, right? I mean, at least like look at the Barracuda aren't good, but at least they're playing for something.
True. And
right.
And it was a historical week from what I noticed. Like they had the lead in every single game. Like they scored first and somehow figured out a way to lose. So no, Columbus, I believe. No. Excuse me. No, Barabanov bang home to Couture rebound on the power play, and then after that, Columbus went ham. I mean, and the Sharks were DOA halfway through the second. I mean, they went 22 minutes between getting shots on goals. Barabanov scored. And then you were almost looking for the SpongeBob scream. 22 minutes later,
correct?
And
yeah,
then
like
Eklund scores.
And again, like it was one of those games, right, where it's like you're happy for certain things, right? I think Šimik got a goal that game too.
No, Knyzhov.
Right? Knyzhov. Sorry, you're right, Knyzhov. Like, so you're happy for like you're looking for things to be happy about, like little things to be happy, right? Like I'm happy Eklund scores. I think Eklund's been playing great. Knyzhov, after everything that guy's gone through, it's nice to see things working out for him. Like you get happy for those things. So I guess when you get those moments, you can get happy about that. But like, I don't know, man, all these games just blur together now. Like I feel like really shitty saying that, but like
it's all one big loss.
As a guy who's supposed to like, have intelligent things to say about this team, but all these games just blur together at this point because they're just man, and then obviously things get suckier as we go. So let's go.
Yeah, I mean the Sharks they couldn't win they couldn't lose in regulation when everybody else they needed to lose actually did.
Right.
You get a 5-point game from Johnny Hockey, that silly ass 2-on-0. But I gotta say the most refreshing part of this game was hearing a upset and honest Curtis Brown in the post game. Check this out.
Can you help me out? Come on, help me out. This is Post Game Live presented by Toyota.
I'm moving my legs as fast as the back checkers on that overtime goal. It's taken me a while.
Okay. Well, since you're hot, let's get your initial impression of the game and the finish of the game. Where do you want to begin?
Love the fact that they battled back.
Right.
Don't like the start. And when you get to see the overtime goal, I get it. It's 3-on-3. It's not traditional hockey.
Yeah.
But you got to work on the way back. It's not just all about going up the ice and looking for your apples and whatever else you can find. You have a netminder that's relying on you to back check, and the Sharks don't move their legs from the blue line in. And when they get there, they go behind the net. Johnny Hockey, that's his...
All right, I don't want to dive into the whole thing because we'll be here all night, but it was just, right. I mean, to hear, I've never heard Curtis like that boisterous.
Yeah, I mean, I have made comments on how I rarely get the Sharks feed, so, which is like it's a blessing and a curse. I think it's a blessing because I don't think the Sharks broadcast is as good as it used to be. And I don't know, man, like intermission is just like scroll Twitter or whatever. Like, I don't know. I just think like the way people consume television has changed, and I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I
thought it was just insanely refreshing to not hear the everything is awesome narrative that we're used to.
For sure.
And maybe it's easier to be that way when the team is officially eliminated. But it either way, it was.
Oh, you mean they're not making the playoffs? Wait a minute.
I hate to break it to you.
Breaking news.
But it was refreshing to get that type of honesty, and hopefully it continues. I would certainly appreciate it. I want to address Berg's comment in the chat coming in from YouTube. Can they set the record for the minimum amount of home wins? Yes, they can. Right now, it was, last I looked, they had 8 home wins in 92-93, their second season at the Cow Palace. So right now they're still at 6, 5 home games left. And last I looked, those 5 home games come against Winnipeg, Vegas, Colorado, and Edmonton. I mean, maybe Winnipeg. I think the other team.
I was gonna say Winnipeg's kind of been sputtering out of control a little bit lately. So I think that is a game where the Sharks might be able to do some damage. But when I look at those other teams, like unless they're gonna start sitting guys because the playoffs are approaching, which doesn't really happen that often in hockey, to be completely honest. But
and I don't see Colorado sitting anybody. Like they're just going to be like, no, we got out of the gate slow. We're the defending champs.
Right.
We have some things to say. We want to be firing on all cylinders going into those last 2 weeks. So and like I mentioned earlier, the last matchup, a 6-0 curb stomp. So. Yeah, but either way, hey, Curtis, good on you for showing that type of honesty, and appreciate it. Hope it continues. So for things you love to see in this one, hey, at least William Eklund got his first NHL goal.
Yeah, love it.
Gotta love that. Nice, sweet little backhander into the yawning cage. Knyzhov gets his first goal in 2 years. Love that.
Yeah.
Kevin LeBanc playing well after being benched, how many times?
All season, basically.
Pouliot grabs 2 assists after being called up. Couture has a 3-point night. And the team continued to battle back despite tons of reasons not to. So
it was a weird game because it felt like if they put the puck on the goal, like there's a good chance it was going in. Because I don't think the Columbus goaltender, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I don't think he had a particularly great game.
No.
Like the Sharks went 22 minutes between shots, and both were goals.
John coming in from YouTube saying, I can't believe Curtis Brown said we shouldn't speculate about the trade deadline. That's half of this team's profile this season, and I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I mean,
and let me see. Alex in the chat from YouTube says, I find it really entertaining now. The tank race is really exhilarating.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's hard. Like I just want the season to be over at this point, because it's hard to come on like to do what we do, right? And I it makes it sound like I'm complaining.
I was going to say like we do anything special.
Like we don't, right? But I'm running out of things to say about this team, right? Like how do you break down a game where they're just, it's another loss and everyone else lost, so yay?
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
You don't want to be like, I don't want to be hypercritical because like we don't want them to win at this point. So I don't want to be hyper like, oh man, look at this guy, he's such an asshole and he can't fucking play. And you know what I mean? Like, what do you do?
No, I feel you.
So I feel like it makes doing After Dark kind of tricky. I mean, whatever, I can do it. We do it every time. We do it a million games a year. But I just think for me, and maybe that's just my personal selfishness seeping through, it's really hard to find interesting things to talk about this team when, what are we going to do? Throw Tankathon on the screen? Like,
sure.
What do you want from me? I guess.
I mean, Teal BT from the YouTube chat saying, can we start a Bedard segment on Pucknologists? Absolutely. I think that'll probably begin next week. But
I dig it.
But again, I still, if you want to try to take some positives out of it, Pouliot, again, 2 assists, LeBanc playing well. Here's Quinn on both of those guys.
I thought they played well. I thought Kevin had one of his better games in a while, not just because he scored. I just thought he was around the puck more. He was over the puck more. He earned the ice time that he got, and he and I have had plenty of conversations about that. And we actually talked before the mini game, had a good conversation, and he's played well the last 2 games, so he's going to get more ice time. It's very simple. Those who play well will be rewarded with further play.
Very simple. Those that play well will be rewarded with further play. Now,
Oh yeah,
There's
great back to the AHL.
I was gonna say though, there's been a few times where people did not play so well and they were in the lineup the very next game.
Yeah. I mean, there's a guy making $7 million that has played for multiple seasons not well.
Yeah, and dude, Chief, this week, when I remember looking at the numbers following the game, and I'm like, wait a minute, you've been on this team literally longer than anybody else. You are the elder statesman of this team. You are the only player on the current Sharks roster that wore the second generation jersey, and you were bottom of the time on ice listing for a couple of games this week. Like, wow.
Yeah.
So anyway,
must suck to suck.
Yeah. So file under, you hate to see it. The Sharks lose again at home despite scoring first. They went 22 minutes without a shot on goal, unable to contain Johnny Hockey, called out for a lack of physical play again, this time by Hedeken. Remenda called out the half-assed back check from EK65 Hurdle and Eklund in overtime, just as Curtis Brown did. But here's Quinn on his thoughts on the overall game against Columbus.
Yeah, just a very different game than Saturday. I thought it was very loose. I thought it had a pond hockey feel to it from our end of it. And, you're not going to win hockey games and give up 6 goals and be that loose and give up the chances we gave up. And like I said, it was a 180 from the other night. I thought we were tight the other night. I thought we defended hard. I thought we managed the puck. But tonight it was all offense at all costs and not a lot of defensive conscience. So, that's something that we're going to make sure that doesn't creep into our game under these circumstances. They were harder than we were, for sure. I thought that was a problem for us. So you give them credit, but I just thought our decision making and our lack of closing on people, and they just had a lot of room. And part of the reason they had a lot of room, they skated. So like I said, give them credit, but I didn't think we played with the right intentions mentally like we did the other night. Again, I thought they upped the ante too. They turned it up a notch from their end of it, but I thought we were sloppy and casual and not real purposeful in what we were doing. I thought, from a positional standpoint, we were just chasing the puck and out of position and just didn't really play as a 5-man unit, which we did a really good job of against Mini. So, and when we're at our best, that's what we do well.
Well, that's the thing. When we're at our best, that's what we do well. But that's the thing. This team, we've been talking about a lack of physicality for 70 games. It hasn't changed. Why is it going to change in the last 12? Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck. Attendance in this one, 127. Look, for those of you who remember in the Bay Area, it was really crappy weather all over the Bay. You've got the 2 worst teams in the league facing each other. But I will say, if someone tells you that they were at the game that Eklund scored his first goal, maybe you doubt them a little bit. There you go. I might need to see a warm-up puck, a ticket stub, something. A photo, perhaps, at the game. Let's move on to Seattle coming to town. The Kraken. They come in on a 3-game losing skid. But you know what that means? No team.
The Sharks.
Yeah, I was going to say no team cures your losing skid quite like the Sharks. Now remember, the Sharks last game actually shut out Seattle at SAP Center 4-0. It was the one game over a 7-game homestand that they won, and it was the only team that came in the playoffs. And and there you go. The weird thing about this one, of course, though, is at least leading into it before the puck is actually dropped, Pouliot moved up to be paired with Karlsson, with EK playing on his offside. What do you think about those defensive pairings? I thought that was a little weird after Knyzhov had shown a little bit of chemistry with Karlsson.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of throwing shit against the wall at this point with this team. I think, I like Knyzhov and Karlsson, but Pouliot has been, I think he's one thing that he's done really well in the AHL is he's been really defensively responsible. I don't think Pouliot has NHL wheels though. So I don't think putting him with Erik Karlsson really accentuates anything that Derek Pouliot does well. because I don't think he has the wheels for the NHL. That's my take. I like Dirk Pouliot a lot, but I just don't think the wheels are there. So I don't know why you would put him with someone like Erik Karlsson.
I feel that. I mean, for me, the Seattle game, pretty even, balanced. Both teams pissed away 2-on-0s, 2-on-1s, but it came down to a defensive breakdown from Karlsson and Pouliot that ended up behind Reimer. And, Gord, dude, made a pass for the ages from behind the net. And, considering how many times Ike has done that, you thought that maybe he would have saw that coming. but it's another OT game. Dunn would win it. Another 5-hole goal. The Sharks stayed 6 home wins and remain at the top of the overtime loss leaderboard, which is a damn shame. Last time I looked, I think they're tied with Calgary. It's like,
yeah, it's one of those things where I wish the NHL would go to like a 3-point system. Where like all the games are worth the same amount of points, right? So a win regulation is 3 points, and then do what you do for overtime now, and then all the games are worth the same amount of points. There's no extra points that magically appear out of nowhere.
Really?
I mean, that's the way I would do it. I'm not smart.
Oh.
But yeah, I mean, again, it's just like it's so frustrating because again, it's like you go and you tie it up so you can lose in overtime. It's just. At this point, like, I know wins are even worse because then you get 2 points, but like, fuck, man, stop with the loser points.
Yeah, these loser points are just a fucking killer.
Like, I'd rather, if you're going to go overtime, like, at least just win the fucking game then. I don't know.
I'm telling you. Metal Mario.
Pulling on my inner Rado.
Oh, there you go.
The damn game.
Metal Mario asking from the YouTube chat, Knyzhov's been so good since he came back. I hope they give him an extension in the offseason. I mean, Chiefs making $850. This is the end of his year. I mean, how do you not give him something? Like, what, 2-year bridge?
Sorry, Knyzhov?
So, yeah, Knyzhov. I mean, do you throw him a 2-year bridge deal or something? I mean,
yeah, I think he's
how
done
old is
enough
he? How old is he? If you're like looking on Cap Friendly and bringing up all the numbers, I mean, he
right now.
What he was making what $850 this season?
Knyzhov's just a young guy, isn't he? He's young,
relatively young, I would think.
He is. He's 21. Yeah.
Yeah, 21. I mean, what?
No, he's 24, sorry.
Oh,
He's
24. So,
but even still, I think he's done enough that you throw him maybe another 1-2 year contract. Yeah, I think he's done enough. Like, I think based on his play, like, he earned his way back onto the Sharks, where there was a stretch where I honestly didn't know where he stood in the organization because it was like he was on the Barracuda and then his conditioning loan ended and they actually assigned him there. And it's like, ooh, no, obviously it's hard to get up to this energy, like to this level of hockey when you start this late in the season when everyone's already been playing. I think it's hard to get up to speed again when you've missed that much time and you have to enter like
2 years.
Right. And so, obviously I think he had a little bit of a rough start on the Barracuda, but I thought he continuously got better. I think there's something there. I would keep him around. I mean, I don't know. Mike Greer might, want to find Matt Benning 2.0 and there might be no room for Knyzhov, but
a lot of defensive pickups over the last couple of months.
Yeah, I still think like there's something there though. I think you give it another shot. Is he a 1-2 guy? No, but I think he's a perfectly serviceable depth guy who I don't think's gonna super ring the bell. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you control his rights. Like he has arbitration rights, but he's a controlled asset.
Yeah. Let's hit some in the chat here real quick. Alex asking, they can't risk sending Pouliot to the AHL, right? He'll get picked up on waivers. Is he waiver exempt?
No, he's not. I mean, no, but here's the thing, right? That you have to remember about waivers, especially this time of year. A team picking up Erik Pouliot on waivers, trade deadline's over. You pick someone up on waivers, they're not playing in the playoffs. So if you're a playoff team looking to add depth, taking anyone on waivers now is a fool's errand because they're not playing in the playoffs for you.
All right. And Burge asking, why not just another 1-year deal for Knyzhov? I mean, yeah, why not? I mean,
yeah, 1-2 years. I have no issues with Knyzhov at 1-2 more years.
Yeah. I mean, I think I might go 2, but yeah. We got some more questions on there, but The thing is that you're playing into some stuff that we want to talk about a little bit later in the show, so we'll get there.
Okay.
But that's where we're at with Seattle. You love to see it. Hey, Eklund nails his first penalty shot. Love that.
Yeah, love that. Love that. Love working
Dude.
the crowd after.
Buried it, and then is just, are you not entertained?
Yeah, no, I love it.
Like
I said, man, like I've said this a couple times, but on a few different shows that we've done, and I'm glad that other people got to see the Eklund that I've been watching all year.
And
Because
again,
I don't think the Barracuda get, they get some eyeballs. I'm not saying no one's watching them, but I think a lot more people watched Eklund on the Sharks than those who did on the Barracuda.
yes. And when it comes to again, I mentioned it with the Columbus game, attendance in this one, 11,700. So if somebody tells you, I was there when I saw Eklund, the penalty shot, you might have a little bit of doubt. I'm just saying. But another thing that I love to see in this one, Barabanov led the forwards in time on ice.
Yeah, I mean, look at him.
Love to see that.
He's been good this year. Yeah, I think he's earned the ice. I like Barabanov, man.
Oh, dude.
There's not too much not to like about that player.
Love it. Under hate to see, boom. Again, this might be a running thing, but Sharks lose at home again. Gain a charity point. And
yeah, that's the part that I don't like. I don't care if they lose at home.
And this is something that we kind of touched on earlier. Like Vlasic at the bottom of defensive time on ice, can't even crack 15 minutes on a team that has who? I don't know. Just makes you think. Makes you think. Finally, the Sharks would host the Islanders, who had a lot to play for. I mean, they came in as the final wild card. They're battling with Pittsburgh. The Isles, however, 4-1-1 in their last 6 road games coming into this, but they are at hockey 500 on the road for the season. However, 6-3-1 over their last 10 total games. Ends up being a 4-1 loss for the Sharks. This was weird because we mentioned earlier in the previous game against Seattle that Pouliot got moved up with Karlsson. Karlsson gets moved to his offside. In this one, LeBanc, going back to what Quinn said, you're going to earn your ice time. All of a sudden, LeBanc got promoted from being, fourth line guy to, boom, you're going to play with Couture and Eklund, and Zetterlund gets demoted. But we also saw Martin Kaut come in for Svechnikov. How'd you feel about those lines? I mean, do you think good on you for giving LeBanc some time and some reward for doing, for responding to these multiple benchings?
Yeah, look at Kevin LeBanc isn't a fourth line player. Like, he's just not. That's not what he is. So it's amazing that if you put a guy in a position to succeed, that occasionally they do.
Yeah.
Like, his game, there's nothing in Kevin LeBanc's game that says, oh man, that's a fourth line mucker.
No.
Right? Like, there's just, so I mean, like, oh, amazing. You put a guy in a position to succeed and he succeeds. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's weird how that happens.
Yeah.
I really like this question from Alex. We're going to get to it in a little bit, asking, do we think that the Sharks will be as bad next year? 2024
Yes.
tank. Short answer, yes, but we're going to dive into it in a little bit. But I wanted to let you know you are seen. Everybody who's
You are seen.
Yeah, I'm trying to pay attention to the comments that are coming in. But Mikey, John, Burge, Alex, we see you. We're going to try to get to all of your questions. So the storyline for the game versus the Islanders, I mean, again, Sharks get the first goal, lose the game, like 30th time, I think that has happened this season. After getting the first goal, dude, the Islanders just suffocated the Sharks, the close checking, physically heavy game.
I have to take your word for it because because what I did last night is I watched the Barracuda game and I had to work in the morning, so I didn't want to be up all night anyway, and I was up a little bit later than I wanted to doing the Barracuda game. I looked at the score and I'm like, I have no
Seems
regrets.
legit.
I have no regrets. So I wish I had like more to tell you about this game, but I'm like, again, if you give me the option to watch the Barracuda and the Sharks right now, I'm taking the Barracuda every time, not just because that's what I do here.
Right? I mean, but
I would do it anyway.
But this is one that LeBanc, he gets promoted. He comes out of the box serving somebody else's penalty, as LeBanc does.
As LeBanc does, yes, designated penalty taker.
Right. But totally deked Aho and went a beautiful post-to-post goal on Sorokin. And then that was it. Pajot, dude, absolutely walked EK65 to tie it up. Kakinen forgetting that what post checks are. And the Sharks would give up their 10th shorthander of the season. So the things that you love to see, like I said, LeBanc getting more leash and doing something with it. Eklund continuing to look pretty good. But on the hate to see it side, it's your 9th straight home loss. You take an exorbitant amount of penalties again. And it's the 30th game this season that you had a lead and you lost. And
that's true.
A lack of physical play called out again. Again, I'm sitting here going, this is something that we talked about all season. Why is it going to change for the final 12? It won't.
I mean, look at this lineup though. Like where is your oomph in this lineup?
It's like Gadjevic isn't in there, Viel isn't in there. I mean,
right.
You know,
and like I remember someone on like responded to the TL Tank because I was obviously doing the Barracuda game and I think Puck Guy was doing the Sharks game, and like someone's like, this is why VL needs to be there because then guys like Clutterbuck. I'm like, Clutterbuck would fucking kill VL, dude. Like, what are you talking about? That
is true.
Like Cal Clutterbuck is not going to be afraid of Jeff VL. I love Jeff VL. Don't get me wrong. Like there was like a thing that we captured from the game yesterday, and it was like my favorite part was when Jeff Viel punched anything wearing green because he literally did. But like Cal Clutterbuck's not afraid of Jeff Viel.
Nah. And again, John, I saw your question. We're going to touch on that again. I'm trying to like highlight the questions that I see coming in because I'm like, oh, they're getting ahead of us. They're getting ahead of us.
We're trying to keep this thing on. We want this thing to be over sometime before next month. Like,
yeah,
me and AJ can spin a yarn. So
yeah, but look, we have to talk about the elephant in the room.
Do we?
I mean, just a little bit. I'm going to say my thing, and then you can say your thing, and then we'll just move on. Okay. So this game, it was Pride Night for the Sharks.
Mm-hmm.
James Reimer elected not to wear the jersey. That's fine. Don't wear it. To be fair, I really don't care that much, if at all. It's I mean, he cited religious beliefs. That's the thing that gets my hackles up, to be honest with you. If anybody has a problem with inclusivity, I invite you to start your own podcast so you can preach to everyone how your religious beliefs trump everybody else. That makes you more important. Like, I don't want to go into a whole, rabbit hole about this. Everybody, we can all sit here and have our own beliefs about things. It's all great. We're all just here to root on the Sharks. I just want to say that, if you want to believe in an omniscient bearded carpenter that comes from the north, that sees when you sin and when you're good, and he speaks all languages and has disciples that serve him, I just want you to know that who I just described was Santa Claus. I mean, a toy carpenter has a beard, comes from the North Pole. He knows when you're bad or good. He can talk to all children, and he has elves that serve him. Just saying.
All right, so I'm going to say a little bit more here, and I'm sure that I'm going to get it.
And if you want to believe in that, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not going to treat you any differently because you tell me that you believe in God and you're Christian or you're Catholic or what. I'm not going to treat you any differently.
Correct.
But I kind of have a little bit of an issue with somebody who hides behind religion, that uses religion as an excuse. And maybe that's because I'm agnostic and like I don't believe in the fairy tale book. If you do, that's fine. That's good on you. It's just that's not me. But I'm not going to. If you want to like talk to me about hockey, I'm not going to sit there and go, "Oh my God, you believe in God?" No, I'm not going to. It's like, no, I'd love to talk to you about hockey. I don't care about that shit. But go ahead.
So, Yeah. So here's my thing, and I'm gonna preface this by saying, don't fucking at me, because I'm not gonna debate this with you on Twitter. So if you come away from this being like, oh my god, I can't believe Ian said all this shit, and I'm gonna debate him and show him how wrong. Nah, dude, we're not debating this on fucking Twitter.
No, I mean,
But
I will debate it. I will debate it on Discord. So only because we can sit there and actually listen to each other's voice. But go ahead.
Okay. So here's my thing, right? Like, first, I'm gonna say this. Like, obviously, James Reimer has the right to not do this. Like, I'm fine with that. Like, I'm fine with him not wearing it. Whatever. It's his fucking choice.
Absolutely.
Right. Like, that is.
Do
you want to
you
live in a free country? People are free. Yeah. I'm a very much a you do you kind of guy. So here's my take. I think the problem here is the problem that I have with James Reimer's statement was like they make it like they a lifestyle choice. Like, to me, and this is my opinion. If you don't have this opinion, it's fine. But this is my opinion. My opinion, like, you can't change your sexuality any more than you can change the color of the skin or the color of your eyes. It's just a part of who you are. Now, unfortunately, and I think this is where the problem lies with the folks who are of the more religious persuasion, they feel that it is a choice. Because if they believed that this was just who people were, well, then God would have made them that way, didn't he? And then their whole fucking thing falls apart.
Here,
right?
hold on. Let me
apart.
dip out of these and let me. Oops, I'm trying to drop this in on the fly. So there we go. To offer context. So, James said, under the umbrella of the NHL's Hockey is for Everyone initiative, the San Jose Sharks have chosen to wear jerseys in support of the LGBTQIA plus community tonight. For all 13 years of my NHL career, I have been a Christian, not just in title, but in how I choose to live my life daily. Excuse me. I have a personal faith in Jesus Christ, who died on the cross for my sins and, in response, asked me to love everyone and follow him. I have no hate in my heart for anyone, and I have always strived to treat everyone that I encounter with respect and kindness. In this specific instance, I am choosing not to endorse something that is counter to my personal convictions, which are based in the Bible. On the Bible, the highest authority in my life. I strongly believe that every person has value and worth, and the LGBTQIA plus community, like all others, should be welcomed in all aspects of the game of hockey.
Yeah.
That's great.
So
it's a nice thing to say. I'll let you do you, and then I'll finish up.
Yeah. So I mean, so here's the thing, right? So I think like I understand when people like if they think it's a choice, but I don't think like I don't think of people who are in same-sex relationships and equate that with like veganism or something, like a choice that you make. Right? You know what I mean though? Like I think that's the thing though, but that's the way they treat it. They treat it like someone's a vegan, like they've made a choice, but I don't think that's the reality of it. I don't think they've made a choice. I think they just are who they are.
Yeah.
Right.
And Shane coming in saying, Reimer, well said. That's fine. That's fine. And Shane, you're welcome here to go ahead and say that. Absolutely. I agree to a certain extent with some of his stuff, where it's just kind of like, look, this is not something that I can personally get down with because it goes against my beliefs. And it's like, okay, that's fine. Just own it. I'm not a big fan of kind of putting, holding up the Bible as a shield. I'm not a huge fan of that. But the thing that just, if you want to take this to the nth degree, it's the whole comment about, my personal convictions are based on the Bible. I mean, wasn't there something about not like wearing different fabrics that are merged together? Wasn't there something about not like working on Sunday, and he's played like 3 Sunday games this year? Like, and this is me taking it to, to an extreme degree, but
sure.
That's sometimes I feel like that's where it needs to go when you're hiding, when you're using religion And again, to me, and again, everybody have your own, you all have your own beliefs, and that's great. It's just that my belief is religion is the biggest con job on the face of the planet. It just, for me, that's what it is. It's right up there with Scientology and every other thing. It's like, you know what our religion is here, Ian? Don't be a dick. That's pretty much it. Like
we violate that one every day.
Yeah, but I mean, but we do it in a humorous way. Like there's no malice behind it. You know what I mean?
No.
When I tell Jerk to go fuck himself, that's not me telling him to actually do the physical act of fucking himself. It's me being like, dude, stop.
I just like, and honestly, like, and here's the thing, and I try to say this every show, right? Like, I mean, I appreciate everyone who's here that knew this topic was going to come up, and obviously they probably want our take on it. Maybe they don't. That's fine. But like, again, I'm a 43-year-old white guy that's straight, right? Like, my voice on this isn't the one you should be listening to.
Sure.
Listen to the people that are actually affected. Like, I'm sick of talking about this. I can't imagine being a person who actually has to fucking live this.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, it's so frustrating, man, because I think, like, again, and we kind of talked about this on a previous show where I think that when the Provorov thing happened, right? There's just such stupid rhetoric around the, oh, they're all pedophiles, and if you support them, you're a pedophile too.
Well, here, hold on,
right? Like, because again, the rational argument is what two consenting adults do behind closed doors is their own fucking business. It's none of yours. It's none of mine. It's fucking certainly not the government's.
Exactly. But let me break this down into like an analogy that I think that everybody might be able to understand. Well, actually, no. Now that I'm thinking about it, no, it's not the same, because
it's not the same.
Well, and the reason being is because I was thinking, I'm like, you know what? When I was like 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, I would wear shirts with the KISS logo. I was a big KISS fan at that age. And I caught a ridiculous amount of shit because I was a KISS. Oh, KISS sucks. You're an idiot, or you're this, you're that, or what, because you like KISS or whatever. And, and now I'm thinking, I'm going, I caught all this shit, and that was a choice I made,
Right. That's the thing, right?
I wasn't born a KISS fan.
No. So, and that's the thing. Like, to me, and I think as long as that is the belief among some groups, that this is just a choice they've made, that they choose to live in sin because, and look jerk off me is not going to convince anybody otherwise. If you strongly believe that gay people are gay because they've made a choice to be gay, then I can't help you. I think you're wrong. I think you're an asshole, but I can't help you.
And we're not we're not here to cancel anybody.
Oh, right. Yes, Tealtown USA canceled. I got canceled by Tealtown USA. Nah, dude, you got muted in the chat for 30 seconds. Like, get over yourself.
Because you were being a dick. And again, that's our religion here. Don't be a dick.
Right. Anyway, so I don't know. I want to move on, but I want to finish by saying this: if you really care about these issues, I think you should talk to the people that these issues affect and listen to them before you listen to a jerk off like me go on a whatever soliloquy I just did.
Absolutely, yeah. Talk to somebody who what is it? Lives the lifestyle or whatever. I forget what the word was. Yeah,
that's who they are. It's not a lifestyle. It's not, again, they're not fucking vegans.
Yeah. Well, and Lacey making the perfect comment here. It's ironic because people do make a choice to be religious.
Sure.
There you go,
and
dude.
Again, like, I am not a religious person.
I got to tell you, like, Lacey, that was a mic drop comment, dude.
It was. It was. Because look, I'm not a religious person, right? So I am not going to preach to you what you should be doing as a follower of your religion. But when I see some of the things that are happening and under the guise of, being religious, it melts my fucking brain, because it's like, that's not it, Chief.
So for me, last takes before we move on here. Reimer, do you want to be I don't want to say Jesus freak, but it's like you Christianity is your jam.
That's fine.
That's fine. The pushback that I would give you is there's a lot of other things in that book maybe you should also address. But do you look, we're all a big melting pot. We all need to just try to, what is it? Go along to get along or whatever. We just
need people to mind their own fucking business and let people live their fucking lives.
Yeah.
Period.
I mean, to go back to what you said, is how is the couple that lives 2 blocks down the road, how do they have any impact whatsoever on your life? I don't.
It's different for me, right? Because I'm in Canada, for those that don't know, and same-sex marriage has been legal here pretty much my entire adult life.
There you go.
So it's been you know what, and some people will tell you that our country's in great peril right now, but it's not. There's no fires in the street. Everyone's calm. Nothing ended. The world didn't end.
Well, the world hasn't ended, but that's only because the Maple Leafs have hope this year.
Yeah, well.
I'm just saying. So anyway, look, we're very much hey, share what your takes are on it in the chat. If you don't agree with Reimer and you think hockey should be inclusive to everybody and not hold everybody up, that's great. If you agree with Reimer and you're I'm sorry, homosexuality isn't my jam, that's fine too. We can all
sit my jam
here.
Either. I'm perfectly happy being straight. I mean, not that I have, but I have no issue with someone being when I need to. Someone's gonna clip that now, and I'm gonna get fucking destroyed on Twitter.
Oh, dude, you're gonna get flambéed.
Oh, I'm gonna get flambéed. But again, it doesn't affect me. Two people of the same sex being married doesn't have any impact on my life. Again, it's been on the books here my entire adult life, and it's had no impact on my life.
Well, and I think maybe it's, and again, we do need to move off the topic, but
yes, we do.
It does make me wonder. The people that are very much on the side of, I'll just say the Reimer side of the argument. Not that it's an argument. Even that I think is maybe not the right words to say, but maybe you need to talk to somebody who is and have a respectful dialogue back and forth. That try to at least understand where they're coming from, and hopefully that person will try to understand where you're coming from. And even at the end of the conversation, if you still don't agree, at least there might be a little bit more understanding on each one of your parts.
Yeah, I would echo that, because I think that I think I'm a good talker, but I like to think that I am a better listener, and I think that's why I think that's why I can have a rational idea of why we're at where we're at. And it's unfortunate, man. It sucks. And again, it sucks. I'm like I said, I am super tired of talking about this, but I can't imagine actually living it.
And I'm right there with you. And the only thing I can say is my best friend of, over 35 years, he has 2 daughters, and his youngest, Daphne, 17, now wants to be referred to as Danny. And you know what? I don't sit there and go, oh, fuck you. You were born a girl. I'm going to call you Daphne. That's what you're named or whatever. It's like, no, if that's what you want to be called, that's what I call you. Mm-hmm. As much as I, as much as I tell him I'm AJ, no, you're asshole, and I respect that as well.
Yeah. It is what it is. I think that's the one thing that I would like. I think if you take nothing else from this conversation on this topic, the thing that I would hope that you would take is listen. 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 I've gone to many a hockey game. I've never felt out of place. Like, I've never felt that I didn't belong at a game, right? Like, he's always like, oh, when's it going to be, when's it going to be straight white guy night? Bitch, every night's fucking straight white guy night.
No, I go to a hockey game. I feel out of place and I'm going, how's that a penalty? John in the chat, thankfully breaking it up. What I don't agree with is Couture scoring at the buzzer. I can complete.
Yeah, fuck
I
that
think
guy.
that we can all like come together on. Absolutely, John.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
I appreciate you bringing the room together. Let's move on to our hero and zeros for the week. And again, if you would like to continue the dialogue about Reimer, we invite you to come into the Discord channel where we can speak one-on-one, or we can all speak to each other versus me and Ian just going blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, just don't at me, because I'm not gonna debate this with you on Twitter. Like,
yeah, because
if you're super pissed off,
hey,
like,
Ian?
if what I've said super upsets you, and instead of when you bring up my profile on Twitter, instead of putting your verbal diarrhea into the text box, just hit the unfollow button. Honestly, do us both a favor.
Well, you remember that time you changed somebody's mind on social media? Me
Never.
Neither. Yeah, me
Not a
neither.
one.
Me neither. Tucker, this needs to stop ASAP. Thank you, Tucker.
We're working on it.
I'm surprised you're not using your full name, Karlsson, but that's okay. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Hero and zero. Look, last week I had Knyzhov as my hero, and look what happened. The hero bump is alive and well. Love to see it. Now, I also had LeBanc as my zero, and what happened? Scored. Boom. Both of them alive and well. So this week, my hero, I got to hand it out again. Mm-hmm. Kevin LeBanc, you've switched from zero to hero this week. Dude, you were hustling. You scored versus Columbus. You scored versus Islanders. You drew a penalty against Seattle, and you served somebody else's penalty. I mean, if you're not the Swiss Army knife for the Sharks, I don't know who is. LeBanc, you get my hero for the week. How about yours?
I was gonna say LeBanc too, but I'm gonna go off the Bart's like one off the board
off
when I'm
book.
here.
Love it.
So I'm gonna go Jacob Peterson, who was traded for Scott Reedy. And I think he's had a rough start with the Barracuda. I think he's really tried to kind of, show the coaching staff what he can do. And I think he's maybe tried to force a few plays, but yesterday it kind of all paid off. He got a nice goal against Texas. And, I'm hoping that now that he's got that goal, maybe he'll stop gripping the stick so hard and just kind of play more naturally. So yeah, I mean, that's my hero.
Okay, we have to clear up what Tucker was saying earlier. He says, yes, this needs to stop ASAP. He wasn't talking about our discussion on Reimer and the whole thing. He was talking about Logan beating buzzers.
Yeah, fair enough, buddy. We got you.
Absolutely fair, dude. Right there, Tucker. Right there with you. My zero for the week, and maybe this might be a long time coming, and I hate to say it, Mario Ferraro. Buddy, you're constantly at the bottom of the advanced stats. You're playing in the third pair. Remember at the beginning of the season, it's like you were supposed to be the guy on Karlsson's wing. You were supposed to be the guy that like helped take up the slack from Burns being moved, and it really hasn't gone that well for you, sir. You're bottom pair for most of the season. So maybe this is a long time coming, but Ferraro, and I hate to say it, you're the nicest guy on the planet, but
oh yeah, I like Mario Ferraro, the dude, like nicest dude.
Yeah.
My take with Mario Ferraro has always been this: like, I think the engine definitely runs, but there's no one behind the fucking wheel.
Yeah. Who's your zero?
James Reimer, without any more comment.
Yeah, I don't think it's required. So, with the Sharks officially eliminated, Ian, my good sir, what would you like to see in these final 12 games? And I'm going to pose a few different questions to you. I'm going to start off with, would you like to see any of the Barracuda goalies take get a look over these last 12 games? Because let's be fair, to be fair, Kakkonen ain't it. And this is somebody who was like a big Kakkonen fan at the end of last season.
Yeah, look at Kakkonen's indefensible at this point, in my opinion. Like, if you can still manage a defensive Kaapo Kähkönen, like, you are a better man than I. Or a woman. We don't discriminate here.
Sure.
No, I don't think so, because I think the only guy that I think they would look at, like, Aaron Dell's Aaron Dell. We know what we have in Aaron Dell at this point. Strauss-Mann has been fine, but I don't think you throw him into NHL games after, kind of being between Wichita and the Barracuda all season, right? Like, I don't think he's done anything to warrant a call up.
Well, and
Mäkiniemi's injured.
Well, I was going to say, and you've spent so much time lamenting the Barracuda defense, and I'm like, is the Sharks that much of an upgrade?
No, it wouldn't be. I just don't think, like, I don't think Strauss-Mann would benefit from a trip to San Jose to even just sit on the bench. Like, I don't think that would be good for his development at this point. Eetu Mäkiniemi's hurt, so it doesn't make any sense to bring any of the goalies up unless you have an injury.
Okay. Would you like to see LeBanc get even more leash between now and the end of the season to actually see what you have? I mean, so many of the offensive stats have tailed off with the departure of Meyer. Mm-hmm. So and LeBanc clearly, after seeing the press box maybe more often than he should have. To be fair, I would say that he was a little bit of a whipping boy this season, but you've brought it up before. It's like, well, it's not as if Dave Quinn is finding new ground here. Like, LeBanc had issues with Bugner. He had issues with DeBoer. So it's just, do you kind of maybe call out LeBanc, take him into the back room and say, okay, Chief, you got 12 games and you have a year left on your deal. Show us.
I think he gets bought out in the summer, to be completely honest. I think if they can't move him, they buy him out. The buyout's painless.
It's painless, but I just sit there and go, God damn, he's just this kid that, man, when he wants to, he can be an impactful player. I'm not saying he's, the second coming of,
sure,
Timo Meier, but it's when he wants to be impactful, he can. It just seems like sometimes he's just kind of like, he really likes playing on the offensive side of the ice. And once he gets on the other side of the red line, he's just kind of like,
I think, but here's the problem, right? He's ended up in the doghouse for an extended period of time with, 4 coaches at this point? 3 coaches?
Mm.
Like, it's time to cut bait here. Like, yes, he's had a couple of good games, and David Quinn has let him off the leash a little bit. But is that going to last? I feel like we say this every year at the end of the year. Kevin LeBanc gets out of the doghouse and does some stuff, and then we're like, oh man, this is, Kevin LeBanc's out of the doghouse. No, he's not.
Okay, now let me ask you this. And even Berg saying this, and I concur, Berg. They should let LeBanc play out his contract. Why buy him out when he only has 1 year left, and that next season the team is going to be ass anyway?
Because you're not going to use him, and he's counting for almost $5 million against the cap.
Solid point.
If you're not going to play a guy who's making almost $5 million against the cap, what's the point? Especially when the buyout is as painless as the LeBanc buyout is.
See, I'm still on the side of, you know what? Just play him next season.
Trade him.
Well, if you can trade him, absolutely. But
like, they just need to find him a new home.
If they can't find a trade partner, though, I'm all about, just go ahead and keep him, play out the final year of his deal. And if you can move him at the deadline.
In the press box?
No, move him at the deadline. This team, for the most part, is probably not going to be that great again next season. I don't know that it's going to be this bad, but I don't know if it's going to be as good as the previous season. It might be right there in the middle, especially if this goaltending continues.
I don't think it's good for him, though. Like, I think at this point he deserves a clean slate somewhere.
So maybe find a situation where I don't want to say, tout for Merkley, like problem for problem, but like underperformer for underperformer, like.
No, I think that's exactly what they should do, is find somewhere where they can dump him that has a player who maybe makes similar amount of money, similar term, that maybe you can do a problem for a problem.
Dude, Lacey.
I just think he deserves, I feel like Kevin LeBanc at this point, like it's obviously not worked out here. I'm not going to be like, oh, it's working out now, so it's going to be better. Like we've been down this road like 4 times at this rate.
I like Lacey coming in. He goes, proof that Ian is not jerk. Jerk says LeBanc should go for a second rounder. Ian says buy him out.
I mean, look at true. But I mean, I'm gonna do it right now. We're gonna do this.
Well, can you put LeBanc on waivers? AO is asking, can you put LeBanc on waivers?
Yeah, but I think you're gonna have to like maybe you have to eat salary or whatever. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe just trade and eat salary. But like, look at here's the thing with the Kevin LeBanc cap hit. So yeah, okay, you turn 1 year into 2 years, but this coming year, you would be $800,000 against the cap. The next year, he's $2 million against the cap rather than 4.75, whatever.
All right.
As far as I mean, it's fucking painless.
Well, let's move on.
Okay.
Does Pouliot stay even if Šimek or
Uncle Dampy says pay LeBanc to pad his stats, but here's a problem.
Okay. Then
Quinn,
you know what? Hold on. Wait. I need 30 seconds, so go ahead and go off about LeBanc.
Okay. No, Uncle Dampy in the chat saying like play LeBanc to pad his stats and then get some goodies from our trade deadline. Look I am all about that plan. I do not trust this coaching staff to do it. That's the problem. Like this team, like David Quinn, like he's got a little bit of leash right now, but I've seen this song and dance so many times with Kevin LeBanc that like I don't trust that David Quinn is going to just next year's going to be different. That's the problem, right? That's the problem for me, is that I don't think that next year's going to be any different. I feel like we're going to end up the same spot we are now, where he sits in the press box and you have this depreciating asset that nobody wants at the trade deadline because no one sees him play.
There you
go. That's all.
What was my question? Does Pouliot stay up with the club even if Šimek or McDonald are cleared to play? I like what I've seen from Pouliot so far. I like McDonald as well. I think now that I'm really thinking about it, does Pouliot stay up? That's my first question.
If a defenseman gets healthy, no. I think if somebody comes back between McDonald or Šimek, I think he goes back down. Because I think and I think that's the right play too. Like again, I think Derek Pouliot's been fine. I don't think he has the wheels for the NHL. I think he's been fine. But if you're gonna bring in a guy like Mukhamadullin or Hotik, or you know what I mean, like if you're gonna get one of those guys playing, like wouldn't you want one of those guys paired with a guy like Derek Pouliot?
Sure, I'll give you that. Then that being said, though, Šimek has one more year left at 2.2. Is that someone that you would consider buying out more than LeBanc?
No, because he's older, so his buyout isn't as painless, I don't think. I think the thing with Šimek was, and let me find out here. I'm going to put it in just to be safe. But Šimek's contract is so much that like is so little that it's pretty painless too. $950, $650. I don't know. I think you could send him to the AHL and.
Well, I'm asking. Do the Sharks stash Šimek on LTIR next season, or try to get?
I don't know.
Little inventive?
I mean, it depends on his health, right? Like I don't think players are purposely stashed in LTIR that don't need to be there.
All right.
Like I don't think they. We've obviously look at. I'm not saying it never happens. We know it. We know it happens. But I don't think for a contract.
Tampa Bay.
I don't think for a contract of that amount for a player of Šimek's stature that you're just stashing him on the LTIR all year. Like I think if he can get healthy, he will play. I think Quinn likes Šimek, honestly. Like he played most of the season, and when he's been healthy, he's been in the lineup.
Yeah.
So I think he's a guy that Quinn likes a lot. I think but I'm worried about the dude now at this point, man. Like concussions are no joke, and he just can't seem to stay healthy. Like I just want him to be healthy and happy.
I'm right there with you. Hot Wheels, I see you about Quinn in his leash. We're gonna get to that in a skosh, but I just want to let you know I see you. Plattner not going to stand for another season like this. I see you. AO. We're going to get to that soon, but we have a couple other things to hit on the rundown, and we'll get back to you. Let me ask you this, Ian. The Sharks need Nikolai Knyzhov to play at least 10 of the final those numbers have switched, so now it's 8 of the final 12 to keep him under team control past this season.
Oh, I think Knyzhov's up. Like, I don't think he goes back down. I don't think he goes back down at the Barracuda at this point. He's here to stay.
Yeah, I'm right there. Oh, like I cannot say, like, there's been a lot, or I just say it's been kind of hard sometimes this season to find something good to talk about. As we mentioned earlier, Knyzhov has been one of those stories where you're like, God damn, hell yeah. Like, this is one of the ones, but you would have hoped he would have come up a little bit sooner, but hey, the body takes time, and it's finally gotten here, so there you go. Let's move on to Eklund. William Eklund sent down after 8 games, and I'm going to ask you this. Let me just yes or no at this point, and then we'll dive into it because I have other things to talk about. Yes or no, did the Sharks make the right choice?
Yes.
I would agree. So, Curtis Brown says no. I don't know why Curtis Brown said that. David Quinn says Eklund had made his case to stay up with the big club, but obviously it's not Quinn's decision, it's management. My question, of course, is what is the benefit of keeping Eklund up and burning a year of his ELC? Like, what is the value, or I should say, you get an extra cost-controlled year. Yeah. What is keeping him up on a team that has been out of the playoffs since Halloween? What benefit is that going to bring?
I mean, obviously, I think so. What people will tell you, and I don't agree, but what people will tell you is that this is going to completely sour the relationship between Eklund and the Sharks, and I don't believe that. Now, I think the Sharks just have to shut the fuck up and just say it's a business decision instead of trying to like sugarcoat it. We all know, like, again, we're not tanking, we're trying to make the playoffs. No, we know it's all bullshit. Like, I wish the Sharks would give their fans some credit for some level of intelligence. Although I've been on Sharks fan Facebook, maybe they don't. Maybe we don't deserve it. I wish they would just come out and say, yeah, it's strictly a business decision. It's so that we have one more cost controlled year. And look, a lot of people are like, oh, but if they get Bedard or whatever, then they're going to be up at the same time. Who cares? Marc-Andre Vlasic's money will be off the books at that point. Who else is off the books at that point? Like, oh,
so many. And I like Kevin asking in the chat, is Nudavara alive? Who
he is?
I have to ask, who's Nudavara?
Who? Okay, so at that point, when these guys would be signing new contracts, like Vlasic's off the book, Couture has a year left. If Erik Karlsson somehow is still here, he has a year left. Like, it's gonna be fine. Yeah, it's good. It's good. I assure you, it's gonna be fine. Look at the cap maybe only go up a million this year, and I don't have a ton of faith that it's gonna go super increase next year. But it can't stay like this forever, can it? I don't understand why Curtis Brown says keep him up, because he's a fucking player, and players want players to look at it from That's true. Again, That's if true. You're a player, like if you're I'm not saying William Eklund should be fucking happy to go back to the Barracuda. He should be disappointed. I would be disappointed, but at the same time, it's a business. Well, and I'm not saying Eklund isn't a smart kid, but you have to look around the room and recognize what the fuck is going on. Right. Of course, they were like, he should have known when he was getting called up that, like, yeah, okay, I'm going to come up here, I'm going to play 8, and then I'm going back down, because why would they want to burn a year? Because they get me for another year at a cost-controlled thing like that benefits the team, gets me further. Like, again, I don't understand that. Sense. Like, the only here's the question I will pose to you. Okay. Is there a fear from the Sharks organization that maybe Eklund or Bordelot or whoever, some of these prospects, do you worry if you're the front office about
pissing these guys off that when they
No, they're first year pros. They fucking put their head down and they do what they're told.
Okay, but I'm just throwing this out there because I've seen it bandied about on the Soch.
For sure.
That
for
it's
sure.
just kind
the
of like,
Sharks have
hey,
ruined
I
their
need to be
relationship
up
with Eklund,
here.
and he's going to demand a trade and blah blah blah. No, look at
Same with Bordelot.
If William Eklund is on the Barracuda next year, let's have that conversation about poisoning the well.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Sure.
But for this year, it is what it is. And he knows it. Like, William Eklund seems like a smart kid. He knows the score. He has an agent. His agent's going to tell him the score. He gets it. Now, if he comes into camp looking like the way he did at the end of the season and somehow manages to be on the Barracuda, yes, then we'll have the conversation about poisoning the well and, oh my God, we're going to scare away all our prospects and, we're going to draft Bedard and he's going to be out of here in 2 years like we're Arizona suddenly.
Hold on. I liked Ryan's quote. What is Nudavara? Ask your doctor if Nudavara lasts more than 4 hours. Oh, well, see, it's not a shell until I piss somebody off.
That's fine.
Hold on. Let's address it. Let's take care of it. Hold on. We got to address it.
For fuck's sakes. He's like super behind, clearly.
Let me ask. No, he's behind. It's fine. Brendan, AJ, I like you, but you just totally made fun of Reimer's beliefs. Hold on. It disappeared. Let me get it back.
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous because it's not what you believe. No, I didn't make fun of Reimer's beliefs. I made fun of Christianity as a whole. But I just, again, and
then I say Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no. But again, here's the whole thing. I'm saying this in jest. Again, have your beliefs. That's fine. Have all your beliefs. That's great. And your beliefs, as long as they don't impact me and my beliefs don't impact you, we can all just get along. It's great how that works.
Yeah.
So
okay, let's keep this rolling. I do not want to devolve back onto this.
Yeah, no. And Brendan, if you'd like to have a serious conversation, we totally invite you to join our Discord. Let's have this talk because I would love to hear your side of it. Absolutely, I would love to. Let's move on here to
yes, please.
If the Sharks move EK65 in the offseason, we don't know that that's going to happen, but boy,
I don't have a good imagination. I don't see the destination right now.
Well, I mean, there was a whole shitload of talk about Edmonton, right?
Right, but then they went out and made their trade, so that's got to be out now, right? So
again, right? But so for shits and giggles. For the hypotheses, for the clicks.
Yeah.
It's all about the clicks, baby.
Give me the clickies.
How are the Sharks going to replace his offensive output? I mean, Chief has scored 51% of the blue line points. He's 15% of the total offense this season. And this is a similar question we went to back in 2019. How are the Sharks going to replace the offense that Pavelski, Donskoy, and Nyquist brought? The answer was they didn't. So, like, if they move, do you think the Sharks move him in the offseason?
I don't think the odds are particularly good that it happens, but again, I don't have a good imagination for these things. I don't see the destination right now. If I could see a team where it's like Edmonton made a ton of sense, right? I don't see that fit right now. If we get to that point, then maybe, but it's a lot of money, man. And
That's
again,
so much money.
It's a lot of money. And I have been, I'm a pretty pro Erik Karlsson guy. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this year it's nice that we've gotten this year, but I remember how we got here. And I think once the season ends and once people aren't trying to load up for a playoff run, maybe a little more buyer beware comes back. I don't know.
Well, the other thing, does EK really deserve the Norris this season?
Yeah, I think so. Look at, again, can we stop pretending the Norris is about playing defense?
Well, okay, that brings me to a bigger question. Should there be should there be a separate trophy?
Yes, I've always thought that. I think that there should be a trophy where, where you get a guy who plays good defense. I don't know. But then again, it'd be plus minus, man. It'd be the plus minus award or some stupid shit. And that's just dumb too.
What? No, I don't want to get into the whole plus minus thing, but
that's what I mean. But when you look at like the way that like the people that vote for this shit, like it would become a plus minus award.
But there is something to be said, not for the plus minus, but for what is it, the games above replacement and all of that shit.
Yes. Obviously, the analytics are there. I just don't think that enough of the people that vote for these things are using them.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So it's so it comes down to, it's not that Erik Karlsson doesn't deserve the Norris. It's that we all deserve better people casting votes.
Correct.
I like that. The Sharks want you to save the date, ladies and gentlemen. So save it. Break out your calendars. We're going to save the date for weekend packs next season. The reason why I bring this up, because I got a little bit of a chuckle. And this is not me trying to be a dick. It's me calling out the obvious. So please don't conflate the two. But following the elimination game, the Sharks were eliminated versus Columbus. The Sharks sent out info about Sharks packs next season. One of the items listed said that one of the benefits of this was the option to purchase one playoff game per round next season. And of course, this makes me ask, you think the Sharks are going to make the playoffs next season? So, and again, I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm like looking at if they had put this out last year, I would have said the same thing.
For sure.
Either way, the Sharks are going to need some excitement at SAP next season. Pashelka reported earlier this week the average announced attendance for the Sharks home games this season is just under 14,000. Now, that's up from 12,500 last season, but it's down from 16,400 in 2020 before COVID took over. And so far hold on. So far this season,
where are these tickets coming from? That's what I want to know.
Well, so far this season, Hockey Reference has reported that San Jose has the lowest attendance in the league by way of percentage. They're the only team that's drawing less than 80% full. They're at 79.5. So but again, it's like, absolutely get the weekend packs. I have been entertained going to the Sharks games, but just know that you think they're going to make the playoffs next year. I applaud your optimism.
I don't.
I'm not there yet.
Think that I don't think they honestly believe that, but obviously, like, that is a perk. So if by some fluke of whatever,
we've seen more bizarre things, my friend.
Correct, right? So I think it's one of those, like, I don't think that this is them saying they think they can make the playoffs. They're just trying to sell their packages, and by some fluke.
But you understand the giggles that it elicited.
Dude, I was cackling the whole time you were reading that.
All right. I'm not going to get into the bets because that's a me and Jerk thing, and
I am not a degenerate. Yeah, sorry.
And it's not looking good for Jerk right now. I'm just letting you know.
For sure. Yeah. Congratulations to Jerk, though. We should have started the show with that.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to. If he doesn't want it, I'll let him announce.
I'm just saying congratulations. I'm saying what for.
Yeah. Okay. Congrats, Jerk.
Congrats.
And if you want to talk about it next week, absolutely. 70 games this season. Sharks 52 points. Last season at this point, through 70 games, 67. As we mentioned earlier, the Sharks are on pace to have their worst finish since 96-97. It's
a long time ago.
Yeah, but let me ask you this though, and this is something that Jerk and I have, kind of dove into once or twice.
Mm-hmm. Here's
your opening night roster from last season. You got Meyer, Couture, and Dahlin making up the top line. Second line is Eklund. Now, granted, Eklund, he only played the 8 games, but Eklund, Hurdle, Balsers, Nieto, Bonino, LeBanc, and then Cogliano, Weatherby, and Peterson. So that's your opening lineup. Now, at the opening lineup this season, and we're just talking about forwards at this point.
Yeah, right.
This year, Meyer, Hurdle, Cunnin, Lindbaum,
Jesus Christ,
Couture, LeBanc, Gregor, Bonino, Nieto, Lorentz, Sturm, Gadjevic. So let me ask you this. Which lineup are you more excited about icing to start a game?
Oh, I mean, this is like asking if
Is this like Schrodinger's lineup?
would you would you like to slam your dick in a drawer, or would you like to hit it with a hammer?
Yeah, a drawer or a door.
Right, like I don't know, man. Like there's nothing about either of those lineups super excites me.
All right, that's fine. So let's talk about let's talk about the deadline then.
Mm-hmm.
So at the deadline of last season, things changed precipitously. Of course, all of a sudden, Barabanov, Hertl, Balcers, Meyer, Couture, Dahlin. That's not horrible.
No,
but let's compare it to this year. So hold on. Let's try to get the same thing. So Barabanov, Couture. There you go. Barabanov, Couture. Then you have Hertl and Meyer, and then the year after that is Hertl and what? Asimon? I mean, like it's just so hard to put those two things together. My point being, though, is that were the teams that different between year to year?
I mean, they're so much worse now.
But really?
Yeah.
Hold on,
I mean, look.
Wait, okay. Well, hold on. No. Let me
Meyer.
ask you this. Let me say this. So, okay, just at the deadline then. Let's look at the deadline. Last year, Barabanov, Hertl, Balcers, Meyer, Couture, Dahlin. That's not horrible to me.
It's not horrible.
But Couture, Barabanov, sure. And then Asimont, you're going, really? He's on your top line? And then
right.
Hertl, Zetterlund, and Johnson?
With Mikey Asimont was that, like, and I said this a few times, right? Like, I liked Mikey Asimont. The problem is that, like, the coaching staff loved him too much. Like, he was the new Melker Karlsson.
Yeah. Now, and then to be fair, the deadline lineup last season, the fourth line was Gadjevic, Reedy, and VL, which is like, here's 3 carbon copies of the same player.
Correct.
So to me, what that leads me to believe, though, is that this season, the deadline squad, talent-wise, top to bottom, is better than last season, yet overall, you look at the numbers, they're down. So either way, to me, this is just kind of me beating the dead horse of, like, for all the people that, like, bitched about Bugner, we changed coaches and the results got worse, even though you could argue that the lineup is...
The team got worse.
Well, I would say it's...
You subtracted Burns. You subtracted Meyer.
No. Hold on. Okay, for the most part, I mean, you had Meyer for, up until a couple weeks ago.
But I mean...
But
like,
you subtracted Burns, but Karlsson did, like, better than Karlsson and Burns together.
Sure, but that's still, like... But who replaced Burns? Matt Benning?
No, Karlsson replaced Burns.
Oh, but I mean, like, but you know what I mean, though. Like, imagine, like, I'm not saying that Karlsson, like, if Karlsson and Burns, like, if Karlsson's having this season, like, he could still have this season with Burns here. Karlsson's played every game.
I don't know if he could.
Karlsson has played every game this season.
Yeah, but I don't know if he could because I don't know if he. Yeah, but
that's the
no. But no, I'm not saying that he hasn't played every game this season. I'm saying that I don't know that Karlsson would, because Karlsson wouldn't be if Burns was still with the Sharks, Karlsson would not be getting 2 minutes every time there's a power play.
Sure, that may be true, but I also think, like, not being, not having this injury or that injury.
Oh, of course that's huge. But it's you get what I'm saying. It's like
I get what you're saying, but I still think, like, if you could, I'm not, like, again, who knows? This is a parallel world to our own. But I just think, like, obviously, like, like,
I don't think that and I'm gonna leapfrog on what Lacey's saying here. I don't believe Karlsson has this type of season with Burns on the roster. Neither do I, because I don't think there's the room for Karlsson to have this season.
Maybe there isn't, but I still think if Karlsson's having even a fraction of this season with Brent Burns having his normal season, I don't know.
Well, let's be fair. if Karlsson was doing what he's doing right now, and we look at the forward group, Burns would be playing forward this year.
Yes. Wow.
I had to stick that in, man. But as we get closer to the end of the season, we're going to touch on basically some stuff that happened at the beginning of the season, kind of the review stuff or whatever, but I just do want to throw it out there right now. And I hate to do it, but again, facts matter. We're not trying to be dicks about this. We're literally just like pointing to the sun and saying, hey, big shiny ball makes heat. Right now, the Sharks are, they've lost 30 games in which they had the lead 47 times.
Amazing.
Second most in NHL history. To their credit, they have the ability to take number one in that.
Look at least they're number one. They have the chance to be number one at something. And
this is all I'm
that's
saying.
What's important.
And to me, the big problem this season has it's as games have gone on, and you can look at that by goal differential. Goals for versus goals against by period. The Sharks in the first period, they're -6. In the second period, they're -22. In the third,
long change is a bitch.
Dude, they're okay. Sure, long change is a bitch, but in the third, they're -33, man.
Well, when you're old and you're tired. I don't know.
Man, that's huge. Couple things around the NHL that, again, I'm a proponent. I want to go back to 1 through 8. Just to let you know, in the West, VGK Vegas.
Now, are you doing this true 1 through 8, or are you doing it the way the NHL would do it, where the division leaders are going to be number 1 and 2? Because that was the system. Everyone wants to go.
I'm just going 1 plays 8, 2 plays 7.
That system was never in place. So you can't go back to something you never had.
Oh, well, that's lame. Well, then we should go to that.
I'm just saying.
But
I know this is like my original 6 thing.
But it's like currently Dallas would play Seattle, but if it was 1 through 8, Dallas would play Edmonton. That is a more direct flight, barely. So like just the whole idea of like, well, if like the first 2 rounds they play in their division, blah blah blah, then it shortens on travel. It really doesn't. It currently LA would play Edmonton, but if it was 1 through 8, LA would play Seattle. That's a shorter flight. Minnesota and Colorado, same. Vegas, Winnipeg, same. But the funny thing is, at the beginning of the week, it was actually moved around where you had Dallas playing Colorado. And I'm like, yeah, that's a pretty short goddamn flight. Minnesota playing Edmonton, pretty short flight. LA playing Seattle, pretty short flight in comparison.
Yeah. I mean, they want to keep games in their own time zone so that, we can.
Whatever. It's all bullshit. All right. GM meetings. The cap looks to only go up $1 million next season, but could go up exponentially the following season after his escrow.
I've been hearing that for 3 fucking years.
Yeah, I'm a little tired of it myself, but what we've basically been told, it's going to go up $1 million next year, like 1.5 tops.
Yeah. Here's the thing, right?
How does that impact, teams that don't have a bunch of contracts expiring next year?
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in, right? And I mean, obviously, like, there's a lot of talk about, like, the players just need to give, just to get more escrow or whatever to lift the cap. But, like, if you're a player in this situation and you're watching this RSN thing play out, because the RSN thing isn't going to affect this year's cap. Like, this year's caps, all that money's been paid. The RSN money's all been paid this year. But if, like, I don't want to increase escrow until I know where this shit's going to land.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm kind of cynical about the whole thing too, because it's like, how much is that going to damage? Because again, like, the players, like the way the cap works is it's, they get a split of the revenue, right? They have a 50-50 split or something like that. I think the players actually get a teeny bit more, but if that RSN money starts not coming in for a bunch of teams, then the players are going to get screwed with escrow anyway, because that money's going to come out of escrow when the league doesn't make up their portion of the money.
Yeah, I'm real interested to see how the RSN stuff shakes out.
Yeah, it's shit. It's shit.
Yeah, yeah, they're all gonna all the local teams. They're just gonna have to buy their own network or something. I don't know.
It's not cheap. Like,
no, not at all. Overtime expansion was discussed with the GM meetings, going from 5 to 7 minutes. Your thoughts?
I don't care. I think.
I honestly, I'd like to see him go to 10 minutes.
Yeah, I would do 10 minutes, but obviously the players don't want that. I get that from them.
I would go 10 minutes, and you know how the shootout is 3 each, best of 3, and then if it's the same, it continues.
Yeah,
I say fuck it, 1-on-1.
Yeah, and look at Ricky. I want to get too deep into. I think he's right. You should listen to Alan Walsh talk about all things that don't fall under hockey related revenue. Yeah, I get that. Like when expansion money happened, that wasn't hockey related revenue. That was just a payday for all the owners. I get it. I'm just saying, but as the CBA, the way it is currently set up, like if I'm the players, man, I don't want to take that hit. That's all.
All right, but OT expansion.
Yeah, look at I'm fine with it.
Okay, here's what I propose. 7 minutes.
Okay.
Go from 5 to 7, but and we have seen a lot more games decided in overtime this season than previous seasons.
Yeah.
Thankfully. But when it comes to the shootout, my proposal is you just go 1-on-1. So it's the home team gets a shot and the visiting team gets a shot. And if the home team scores and the visiting team doesn't, that's it. It's over.
That's it. It's over, eh?
Yeah, it's just boom, boom. Now, if both teams miss or if both teams score, then you go to the second round. And then that's it. And it just ends when it ends. It's basically, to me, that is the definition of sudden death overtime.
Yeah, I hear you come from. What I would change is I'd leave the 3 shots alone, but I would you can shoot whoever you want to shoot shoots.
Oh, so you could have like McDavid go 3 times in a row?
You want McDavid to shoot 3 times, you let McDavid shoot 3 times. Don't want to have McDavid shoot 3 times on you? Win the game.
Then I propose to you a combination of the two. It's sudden death, it's 1-1, but going with your thing, if both teams either miss or if both teams score, the next round they go again, and you can use the same shooters if you want.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. We've just solved it, everybody.
We just solved it.
Yeah, we got it. All right. I think what we're saying is that we need to be included in the GM meetings next time.
I'm sure they would love me.
Post-hit fighting. They're talking about this, that it's that they're tired of guys having to answer the bell for clean hits. As am I.
I've always, that's kind of always been one of my things that always annoyed me about hockey. Like, because in my opinion, you shouldn't have to, if you lay someone out with a clean hit, you shouldn't have to respond to a legal play with an illegal play.
Exactly.
Right.
Oh, are we going to suddenly start seeing the instigator rule called? Did I miss a memo?
Never. No.
Yeah, I'd like to. They need to start calling. In fact, we saw that the other day where I feel like the Sharks got hosed on that. It was the one where Hurdle took a shot to the face, and somehow the Sharks ended up killing a penalty.
Yeah, here's the thing with the instigator. Like, the instigator is like the biggest non-issue in hockey, but like people will point to the instigator rule's what ruined the game. Like, it never gets fucking called. How can it ruin the game?
I was going to say, how is that possible? What do you think about Department of Player Safety? And I ask this because it's like, has there ever been a time when a fan said, man, he got way more games than I expected? No, it's never that. You look on social media. Who was the dipshit the other day? Binnington. We'll get to him momentarily. He gets 2 games for being an idiot. And most people, actually, that was the one time where I felt like most people kind of came together and said, yeah, 2 games is about right. But for the most part, it's usually, that's not enough. That's not enough.
Oh, it's not enough when it's the other team, but it's always too many when it's your team. Here's the problem with the Department of Player Safety.
I would disagree with that, sir, because there's been times where I don't have a dog in the fight. I just look at what happened and I go, and he only got a game for that. Jesus.
Sure. And it's easy to do that, but I think when it's your team, then obviously it's always like, oh, they fucking hammered us, and what the fuck, they hate us.
Team bias, yeah.
Blah 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 blah. To me, I think the Department of Player Safety, obviously, if it did what it was supposed to do, but I also acknowledge that as a fan, like, I think that once fan emotions, like fandom kind of sometimes overrides common sense. So I don't think, like, it's an impossible thing. I think that the Department of Player Safety sucks, and I don't think that I would take, I don't like that it's former players, because players are buddies, right? So
yeah, especially George Peros of all people.
Like, I don't like the chicken in the hen, like the wolf in the hen house.
Yeah,
like,
it makes me wonder, like, how different it would be if it was like Gretzky running that shit versus Peros.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
A scorer
like,
versus a knuckle dragger.
I don't think that there's a good way to do it. Unfortunately, the players got what they bargained for, and that's the player safety is a collectively bargained thing. So you have to remember that too.
Well, Ian, I hate to interrupt you, but we have a very serious question.
Okay.
Faulty Synapse. How do I contribute tips to you all? Faulty Synapse, completely appreciate that. Thank you so much for supporting what we do here. You can find us on Venmo at Tealtown USA. If not, you can use the super chat option, but Google takes like 38% of it. So, of course, we appreciate the Venmo version of that. But Faulty, thank you so much for asking. Ian, continue.
Appreciate that. Yeah. I don't know. Like, so I don't know what I was even saying now. The player safety is I don't think I don't think he's done a particularly good job. I just don't like the fact that it's former players doing it. I think if you want to get serious about certain things, I think the NHL, and this is not going to make me many friends in the chat, I'm sure, but I feel like if you really want to start clamping down on a lot of these things, like especially head hits and head contact, I think you got to start calling it like the IIHF does. It's you hit someone in the head, you're done. See you later.
See, my whole thing is, okay, so should the CBA, should there be a push to increase the fines? Because I'm sorry, dude, that again, it tops out
players get what they the players. Here's the problem.
No, I get that they get what they bargain for, but $5,000 that's a night out on the road. That's not a deterrent.
Sure, but I mean, the players again, but that's what the players bargain for. Like, if the players were that serious about being protected, you would think that they would increase the penalties. But the problem is all of those guys look at themselves and say, well, I might throw a fucking elbow into someone's head. I don't want to pay $10,000, $15,000, $30,000, $50,000.
Well, then don't throw that elbow, my friend.
You know what I mean? Well, obviously that would be the vegans and headhunters are going to. Yes, I pissed off vegans and headhunters. It's a good night to be me. I think that if the player, I
dude, Rafi Torres is coming for you, sir.
Rafi Torres is coming for me. I think that the players should take more ownership of player safety. Unfortunately, they are their own worst enemy in this situation. You know, I hate to repeat this as an answer, but they get what they fucking bargained for.
Well, let me ask you this final one before we move on. There evidently seemed to be some talk about keeping a little bit of the horse eye when it comes to the trade-related scratches. Feels like Bettman was just kind of, I don't know, not feeling that a lot of stars were not playing for like a week or so because they were potentially involved in trade talk. This, to me, this is the bed that you made, sir. Enjoy lying in it.
Yeah, again, like I agree with you. Like, this is a situation that they've created.
It's like, here's some loopholes. How dare you walk through them?
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't think it's good for the game when guys are sitting and not playing because they might get traded. Like, I don't think it's good for the game. I don't think it's fair to the people spending their money to come watch the games, especially like, it's the same thing if you start sitting guys before the playoffs or whatever. Like, that's really shitty for Buddy, who, paid for a ticket to come and not see your star player play because you're resting him up for the playoffs or whatever. It's bad for the game, but at the same time, it's, again, the players aren't going to, the players aren't going to change it. So they get what they bargained for. Again, I hate that that's my answer for everything, but it's the truth. I mean, it's the truth.
That's where we're at. Finally, to wrap up things around the NHL, dude, May 8th is your draft lottery. So mark your calendars. We're going to be here live talking about it, especially if a certain particular ball goes the correct way. Oh, we're going to be talking about it. It could be a 12-hour Teal Town live.
Yeah, it could be. I will be here.
It would literally be the first Teal Town live. It would be a combination Cinco de Mayo, Fat Tuesday, beads, drinking. I mean, what's
it's going to be good.
Yeah, it would be a culmination of like Fat Tuesday, St. Patrick's Day, Cinco de Mayo, all in one show.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, or things will go horribly wrong, and you can watch me break into tears.
I was going to say, or you can. So we'll have multiple cameras, and all of you can join us and talk us off the ledge.
Yeah. I might cry on air. You'll have to tune in to see.
Yeah. So May 8th, mark it down on your calendars. There we are. Let's move on.
Okay.
Last time I looked, there was more than one team in San Jose.
Ooh, Barracuda.
All right, kids, the Barracuda went 2-1-0 this week. It was a fun week, dude. At least on Wednesday. A 6-2 victory over Henderson with a 10:30 in the morning start. Kids Day at Tech CU. This was fantastic. The officials let a lot in this one go. I don't know if it's because they want to, entertain.
They had to get those kids back on the bus and back home on time.
Yeah, it's like, you think you have Ritalin? You think you have energy? Ozzy Weisblatt would score what I think is the fastest goal in CUDA history at 27 seconds in. You get a 3-point game from Martin Kaut, including the game winner. And then just after that, he would get called up to the big show. Agazino gets a 3-point game, eventually getting called up a couple days after that. But that included an empty net shorty. You don't see those very often. And Aaron Dell would go 4-0 on the season versus Henderson. So you'll love to see that game. And then Texas comes in for a pair. 6-2 loss in the first one. CUDA
game.
Man got worked. CUDA fell apart in the third, and then that game. Actually, I'm gonna stop you there because it didn't fall apart. That game, they were lucky. I'm just going over all three games, and then you can give your soliloquy. And then it ends up being a 5-4 victory in the second game versus Texas. Your latest Barracuda, Jacob Peterson. Goal, 2 assists. Dell saves 29 of 33. And Sealov, of all people, gets an overtime game winner. I think that's like Seelov's first goal ever on a professional contract.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. It's a win. It's a loss. It's an overtime win. Talk about it all.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Henderson game, there's not really much to say there. The Barracuda they were on their game. I think they played really well. You got a good goaltending performance. You got good performances. I think Ozzy Weisblatt has really come on to end the season. I've been really impressed with Ozzy Weisblatt. That since he's gotten more opportunity to play, he's done really well with it. The first game against Texas, man, the Barracuda were never in this thing. The score sheet would tell you they were, and they did.
And sometimes the score sheet lies.
Sometimes the score sheet lies, like because you'll see it was like, oh, it was a 2-2 tie. Yes, the Barracuda, with what few opportunities they had, were managed to score some goals. The problem is they were just outplayed from start to finish in that game. They lost all the puck battles. Like they didn't win anything that game, including the game. The third game, the one last night, which I was watching, and man, like this again, like it's so fun to watch this team right now because like you get excited when they win. Like you want them to do well, even if it's to get smashed by Coachella in 2 games. You still want them to do well, right? And I probably woke up the house when Seeloff scored that goal.
Oh, dude.
There was a stretch there where it looked like things were going to go off the rails. The second period was not good for the Barracuda, and I was like, oh god, here we go again, because it looked a lot more like the previous game against Texas did. But again, credit, this team, They keep subtracting from the roster, and they still keep finding ways to win. And I mean, look we got guys that are probably going to start playing soon, we hope. Mac Madulin came in, obviously a long flight, just played a big playoff series, time zone switching, whatever, right? Like, so he's, they're trying to get him, they're not trying to just throw him to the wolves. Like, they want him to be acclimated a little bit before they put him into a game. So, like that's the cool thing about this time of year is now you're going to see guys start to come in from when their junior teams go out or whatever, and you're going to get to see some of these guys get plugged into the lineup. So there's that excitement. Plus it's, it's the race to get smashed by Coachella, and I'm here for it.
God, are they killing it that hard?
I mean, look, Coachella has the Barracuda have played a couple of really good games against Coachella, but they haven't solved Coachella yet. And this is why it always kills me when people are like, oh man, meaningful games for the Barracuda. Dude, they're gonna get smashed in 2 games. Like, I don't know how meaningful that's gonna be. Like, I understand that, it's playoffs, so these are meaningful games, but I'm not there.
Well, dude, Ruben's saying last night's CUDA game was arguably one of the most entertaining games I've ever seen live. I mean, dude, there was some good fisticuffs going last night.
Yo, yeah, like just all the cool, like, again, like just the rough stuff. Like, that game last night had a little of everything. Yeah, you had just some like crazy fights, you had some crazy goals, and you had some pretty good saves too. So again, like, it's if you can go to these games, man, like, I would strongly suggest if you have the choice to go to TechCU or SAP, I'm telling you, go to TechCU every fucking time.
Yeah.
Because even if they lose, like, you'll be more into it than anything that's going on in SAP Center right now. Again, the Sharks are typing us an angry email as we speak, but I don't care.
No, it's so much fun. The one thing I want to touch on, I'll run you the numbers. Agazino leads everything, so goals at 24, assists at 28, points at 52. And
the sad thing is, though, is like, because he got called up, like, he was very close to breaking like all the Barracuda records.
And I don't even hate that about this call up. The thing I hate about it, tell me I'm wrong, but it seems like, okay, you sent down Eklund. One of the reasons that was thrown out there, well, we sent down Eklund. It's just, let's be honest. Right? And this you sent him down,
yes,
to get an extra cost controlled year out of it. That's why you sent him down. Don't sit there and blow smoke up people's asses. This is not the fan base from the 90s who were screaming shoot every time. Well, no, I feel you. But this is, for the most part, this is not the fan base that was screaming shoot every time the Sharks had the puck in the offensive zone during a power play. Like, there has been some education that has happened over the last 30 years. There's a decent amount of fans that sit there and go, fuck, dude, we were talking about this 3 or 4 games ago where it was just kind of like, yeah, Eklund, hey, look at the calendar. Look at the way it shakes out. He's going to play his like 8th game, and then they go on a 3-game roadie. That's the time you send him back down. Absolutely. Because you extend that you slide out that ELC. That is the smart play. That is what you should do. So here's the thing that just pisses me off is that some of the stuff that was shared in the promotional stuff, well, we Eklund, yes, we feel like he should have the benefit, our season's over. He should have the benefit of trying to help the CUDA get to the playoffs. By Coachella. Yeah, but either way, it's like to the benefit of playing some playoff hockey and blah, blah, blah. Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. Why the fuck are you bringing up the captain then, who leads you in all points? Like, why aren't you bringing up, I don't know, VL, who's already been to the show?
All bullshit.
That's what I'm saying.
It's all bullshit, man. Like, and that's the thing. I agree. It drives me crazy. I think it's unfortunate because I think he is within. I can't remember how many goals away he is from breaking Barclay Goodrow's goal record for the Barracuda in his season.
2 or something.
Yeah, something like that. And he's also, for I think points or assists or whatever, he was close to breaking Daniel Regan's too. I like Andrew Agazino. I did not have Andrew Agazino coming up on my bingo card for the postseason. I think this is something we talked about on another show, the other day. Yeah. I didn't have this on my bingo card. I have a hard time arguing it though, because like again, I think Agazino's been really great. He's been really good for the Barracuda. I think he's done a really good job leading a very young team.
If it's a reward, that's fine. I'm totally down with it. I totally respect it. And yes, look at the numbers. Kid has busted his ass. He deserves a look. And, he deserves to, sit on the nice plane and get the nice food at the nice hotels and all those things. Absolutely. But then don't blow smoke and tell me that Eklund going down is all about getting playoff looks when you've pulled your captain up. It's just, I'm sorry. It's like those things are in direct conflict with each other.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree, man. I have no problem coming on here and saying that the Sharks feed their fan base a ton of bullshit all the fucking time.
So, like, if they'd brought up like Chris Guolo, I would have been like, well, okay. Like certainly more than Agazino. If the case is we're playing for the Calder Cup.
But even then, like Kyle Chris Guolo is a guy you want down there at this time.
Well,
like,
but you know what I mean.
No, I agree. But it's the same reason like Agazino, right? Like these are veteran guys that you want on to be leading a young AHL team. I think the one player who I think probably I can't imagine being more frustrated right now, I think is Thomas Bortolo. And now look at okay. Now I understand, and let me explain this here because I didn't explain this well enough on Twitter earlier. Like obviously, look at Thomas Bortolo. I was talking about putting on a milk carton the other day, but at the same time, like I think here's a guy who, and this is why I think it must be frustrating. Here's a guy who is one of their best players all season, and then when it comes now to where guys could get called up, he's completely cooled off. And I can't imagine how frustrating that might be, just because like nothing's going his way, and now because nothing is going his way at the worst possible time, it's Andrew Agazino coming up and not, you know what I mean, and not Thomas Bortolo. And I can't imagine how frustrating that must be. I just think it must be just a compound of frustration. I hope that he gets through it and he finds his game again. Thomas Bortolo is a very talented hockey player. He's one of my favorite guys to watch on the Barracuda. I think he will figure it out. I feel for him, man, because I think nothing has gone right for him at the worst possible time.
And dude is kind of cool as shit. Like dude has a vibe. Like you watch him on the videos. Like he seems for like a chill dude.
Yeah,
I'd buy him a beer when he is of age.
When he's of age.
That's all I'm saying. And I like Noel saying I love Tech CU Arena and CUDA games. Yeah, it's a fucking blast, man. It's them having their own barn is just the coolest thing ever. It's so much. I've got a couple friends that are season ticket holders there. They don't even sit in their fucking tickets in their seats. They just sit in the Fireball Cove and just chill. And they're among the elite. They are the biggest CUDA supporters. It's just fun to see what the CUDA, the Fireball Cove has become. It's just a great space to hang out with. So go check it out, man.
For the sake, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna touch on what Puck Guy said here really quickly.
What the hell did he say?
He said, "I hope it doesn't piss him off." A.K. Merkley. Merkley was a third-year pro at this point. Thomas Bortolo, William Eklund. These guys are first-year pros. They put their head down. They do what they're fucking told.
Oh, yeah. Merkley was a little bit different. Oh, hold on.
Merkley's a different situation.
Molasses coming in. AJ, he is of age. He was born in 2002. Boards and I are the same age. Okay, well, then there you go.
Then buy him a fucking beer.
All right, I'll show up, man. Dude, I'll bring a fucking cake. I don't care. Our prospect of the week, which we haven't done in a while. We usually try to do it once a month, but Alex Young, center Alex Young. Chief has 39 points at 39 games. He had a goal and an assist helping propel Colgate University over Harvard to earn Colgate their first ECAC championship in 33 years.
Good for them.
Dude, so they nabbed the White Law Cup. Oh, wait, this is college. That should be called the White Claw Cup. Let's be honest. Stop.
I thought that's what I read. When I read it, I thought that's what it was. I was like,
that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
It should be the White Claw Cup. All right, time to move on to your favorite segment and mine, especially after last week. the tweet of the week.
Got it through, they score! He found Hartman! And the Blues, Binnington coming after him! Hartman skated through Binnington's area and clipped him on the way by in celebration.
And Fleury's over there,
come
and
all
they're
the
gonna
way down to drop the gloves, but the linesman has a hold of Binnington.
Oh, let him go! Holy jumping!
Marc-Andre Fleury trying to get at him, but the linesman won't let him.
Binnington taking exception after the goal by Hartman. He had a slight bump in. Binnington went at him right away while the Wild were celebrating. Marc-Andre Fleury with no hesitation at all. And Binnington wants this crowd going. Where's Ric Flair?
It is wrestling night here in St. Louis. The crowd is in the mood. Ryan Galloway, David Brisebois, the linesmen are not.
Yeah, Fleury's lucky he didn't get anything, like, because he kind of threw the linesman out of the way to try and get to
No,
Binnington.
we'll get to that. But my
Okay.
bigger question is, Binnington had it again.
Yeah, man.
No, so my first question, of course, are the refs the bigger bitches for not letting them answer the bell?
Yeah.
Just
Jordan Binnington, like, he's this generation's Ron Hextall.
well, I mean, dude, Eddie Belfour, not a shrinking violet. That guy was a bit of a nut too.
Yeah, but I think he's more Hextall than Broder. Or
Yeah,
Belfour.
absolutely. Of note, Gord Dwyer, of course, was the official in this one. But dude, this guy is getting a rep for being a ref that lets games get out of hand, But the best part of this game, of course, is that Binnington is going off. He's trying to incite the crowd to cheer, and it's like, dude, you've let in 5. You've just got yanked.
Yeah, that's why like I make the Hextall reference.
Okay,
right?
so
'Cause, like,
then the question is, when is somebody going to drop this clown? I mean, Hartman got an unsportsmanlike for what? Celebrating a goal?
oh, well, he did kind of bump him on the way by. So
Oh
I can
no, a
understand.
goalie got bumped. Boo!
Finished. Like, so I understand it, but like Binnington's like a guy who just like it doesn't take very much to set him off. So it's like I can see why he got pissed off because he's Jordan Binnington. I understand why it went the way it did. If you also, I mean, that clip is great, but what you need to watch is the clip that had Marc-Andre Fleury mic'd up for that.
Don't, sir. Do not think that
it?
we don't have this.
Hey, let's go. Let's go. No, let's go. Come on. It'll be good. No. He always goes with everybody. He always fights everybody, Okay. It'll be fun, no? Get the crowd going a bit, I'll just get myself. I don't like having my hair like this, He's gone.
I don't like having my hair like this. But I love that about Fleury. He's like, I don't even care if I get my ass kicked. It'll be fun. No, the crowd will like it. Get them into it, yay.
I love Marc-Andre Fleury, man. I don't know. I think, but I think that's like, it's funny though, because like Marc-Andre Fleury, right? Like, Ron Hextall was kind of the same way. And then like Felix Potvin of all people fed him his ass. So like it's that, I think that's,
but that's what I'm
happen,
saying.
Right? It's going to be a guy.
Binnington needs to get his ass handed to him for him to stop this finally.
Yeah. I mean, getting suspended, obviously, I think, maybe now that he's actually been suspended, maybe he'll smarten up, but I doubt it.
Yeah, bullshit. How many times have guys gotten suspended and they still continue their shenaniganery?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think stops until somebody runs them.
If their coach gets fired, though, like, is the next coach going to give him this much rope?
Well, yeah, but the whole thing is Berube. It was mentioned that Berube like came out and said he needs to like stop this shit, and
correct,
here he is
for sure. Yeah, but I mean, it's again, I don't think Berube has a ton of rope left there, though. So I mean, he can.
Hey, he's got a Stanley Cup ring.
Yeah. Suspensions mean nothing. I mean, they do, but I mean, it's also it's a hit to the pocketbook.
All right. Let's talk before we finish out. Dude, this is why I'm thinking, you know what? Shootouts need to end. Look at this broken control of horseshit right here.
Shootout decides who gets the winning extra. And it is Kuznetsov, super slow. Steps in, keeps the puck moving forward. Kuznetsov to his forehand, he scores!
Arrive at the net before he put it in, and I counted 21 stick handles. He actually cut down the amount of stick handles because he pushed the puck ahead over the blue line a little bit and just let it stop just about.
Come on with this.
I mean, he didn't do any, like, here's the thing, right?
He didn't violate any of the rules. Yeah, but it's just like, come on.
I know.
With that shit. I mean, I almost fell asleep watching the clip of it.
Clearly the goalie did.
Oh. Yeah, this shootout, we need to come up with something. That was just the silliest thing ever. All right. Coming up this week, everybody, the Sharks are going to play a 3-game roadie in Western Canada, starting in Edmonton, who have now pushed Seattle into the wild card with a 3-game winning streak.
What a flame out they've had.
Yeah, dude, they were so good for so long. Yeah, but to be fair, dude, the Oilers, I'm not saying they were biding their time. There's just too much talent on them for, to not get into the top 3. And has Kane even really still returned yet?
I don't know, man, but I still look at LA sitting in that 2 seed, and I don't see why Seattle couldn't be there.
Dude, I don't even understand how Seattle is there. Or I'm sorry, how LA is there. Dude, you talk about silently doing good. And they were my team last year, and I thought this season they might take a step back, and they've actually been better. So either way, it's the second time the Sharks are going to face the Oilers. Last time out, you will remember that Edmonton curb stomped San Jose with 7 straight goals before the Sharks even got one on the board at SAP. Then the Sharks will head over to Vancouver, who are, oddly enough, playing pretty good hockey now that nothing matters.
Yeah, 8-0. They did the same thing last year. Remember, like, they went on that huge run at the end of the season, and then everyone's like, oh, yeah, Bruce, there it is. Yeah, Bruce, there it was.
I'm just saying. The Sharks have split the first 2 games, each needing overtime to finish, so that could be another fun one versus the Canucks. One of 2 teams that the San Jose Sharks are going to face over the next 12 that aren't in a playoffs position. Then we head over to Alberta to face the Flames for the 3rd of 4 meetings this season. This is another team whose season did not go as expected.
Did it not?
Last December, the Sharks played the Flames in consecutive games at SAP, losing both by a combined score of 12-5. So the second of 3 times, you'll remember they opened the season in Prague back-to-back with Nashville, but in the U.S. or, in North America, the one time they played a team back-to-back, and then, boom, they get to do that against Colorado at the end of next month, which I look forward to.
Pain.
So those 3 games, it's Edmonton, it's Vancouver, it's Western Canada, baby. How do you think the Sharks are going to do in this group?
I think they get smashed. Maybe they beat Vancouver.
So I'm going to go, I'm going to go, I'm going to say 0-2-1. I'll say they lose Edmonton and Vancouver, but somehow take Calgary to overtime and then lose there.
Oh man, yeah. With I don't know, like whatever. Give me 3 loser points, because that's what this team does.
That's what this team needs.
It doesn't need. That's what they do. They don't need. They need no points, but they'll somehow they can't even lose properly.
There you go. You know what? I'm a bad host. I need to go back to some questions that perhaps we didn't answer before we get out of here.
Yeah, let's set these up.
Fact or fiction from Rob. Sharks will have below 10,000 in paid attendance game before the season ends. No,
I don't think so.
There's no way that happens this season.
Because you know what? But we won't even know, man. They could be low, and then they'll just give a bunch of fucking tickets away and be like, we did tickets distributed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, tickets paid for versus distributed versus scanned. It's all different. Mukamadulin, does he play for the Sharks this year?
No.
Hell, does he play for the Barracuda this year?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I think again, like I said earlier, he's a guy who's come over from Russia, so there's a huge internal clock thing going on there. He's been here for what, a couple of days, a few days.
What about the other cat?
Let him adjust.
What about the other cat?
But depends on if he gets cleared to play. I think if he gets cleared to play, they'll definitely play him. Look at the Barracuda need all the reinforcements on the blue line they can find.
All right, John saying in order to draw fans, the Sharks need to start having parking lot barbecues. Street hockey out front, before and after. Jerseys every game. Yes.
Yeah.
I agree with all of those things. I would do it. AO asking, did the Sharks buy out anyone off season? I mean, you've already mentioned LeBanc. Is there anybody else in your sights?
No, I don't think so. I think at this point,
LeBanc's on the top of your leaderboard?
LeBanc's on the top of my leaderboard only because I just think, if nothing else, he deserves a fresh start somewhere else. I'm not playing this game again where he's like, oh, he's doing really well at the end of the year, so next year it's going to be great. No, he's going to be in the same fucking situation again, because that's what's happened the last
it's easy
4
to
years,
do.
it feels like.
It's easy to do well when nothing matters.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, are you ready for a Game 7 wank? He did do really well when everything did matter. That one game.
Sure. Yeah. All right. Game 7 wank. Here we go.
Game 7 wank, baby. So with that, and we kind of touched on this, the Sharks going to be as bad next year.
Yep.
See, hold on. Now, so they're on pace right now for 61 points. You think they're going to be worse than 61 points next year? Because
yes.
Okay. Then we need to. You're going to take the place of Jerk, and we're going to throw a $5 on that. I think they will do 62 points.
Okay. I look at and let me the
reason. No.
Right?
Don't quantify it. You said worse than 61.
You think that? Yeah, because again, just because I can't see an Erik Karlsson trade doesn't mean it's going to happen. Like they trade.
No, it has nothing to do with Erik Karlsson. It has to do with the fact that I think that they will find somehow better goaltending this season.
How many Canadian dollars? $5 US is.
Oh my God.
I don't know what I'm betting.
You.
That's
all right. What are you betting? Like 4 1/4
I'm apparently
Canadian?
betting $6.86. So
all right.
There we go.
All right. 6.86 Canadian. All right. You down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right. I think they will do better than 61 points. And Jerk, or I'm sorry, the facsimile of Jerk says no. How?
Not the hockey jerk, but still a jerk.
How do you even fill 4 lines next year?
Well, I think again, you're going to see. I think guys like Eklund and Bortolo should get a chance in camp to make this right.
I would bet right now Eklund is on the starting roster.
Eklund should
next
be on
season.
The Sharks next year.
Yeah.
I don't even care.
Opening night.
Unless if something awful happens to him, if Eklund's on the Barracuda next year, I'm angry and I have questions.
Here's something to really piss off Hockey Jerk. Just to let you know. Joe Thornton has not submitted his retirement papers yet.
Oh man,
I'm just saying. Back. You want to talk about next season's roster? Just saying.
Oh my god. No, stop
it. I'm just saying. Oh man. So let me see. And then this is the final question. I think we'll get to Hot Wheels. You have our last one of the night. How much leash does Quinn get? I mean, when he signed this deal, because we also saw, Bugner was shown the door a year before he was done. Quinn, has to have been what? I didn't see anything reported because, they guard
I think
coach
3 years.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's 3 years, but for the most part, they try to hide coach deals like they're nuclear secrets.
Yeah, he's on a 3-year deal, unknown salary, but he has 3 years.
You're gonna give him another year?
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell else would you do? I mean, you're gonna get Wasowski in there?
I think that would probably be the play at some point.
I agree. I think we'll see that in his 3rd year when Quinn is a lame duck.
I'm not even sure. I think he gets more rope than that, man. I think look at Mike Greer. You don't need to change
negate
the
the
coach.
Boston ties.
Here's the thing, right? Like if you look at other teams that have gone through what the Sharks are going through, The Sharks know the score. They think we're idiots, but maybe they're idiots too. But they know the score. Look, at this point, Quinn is the guy that sticks around until you think you're going to turn the corner. Then you make your coaching move.
But
Quinn's the guy. He's going to be here for a while. Get used to him. The Sharks have unless if maybe you get some owner interference or something crazy like that, but you leave the guy in, right? Like you look at other teams. You look in Detroit. Jeff Blashill was there for how long? And then when they thought they might turn a corner, Blashill's out.
Yeah, they flipped the script.
Right? Quinn's going to be here for a while. Get used to it.
Well, I mean, I think definitely through next season.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see what happens after that. I mean, I don't think he's going to, supplant, I don't know, Al Sims as the shortest tenured coach. But again, I've been on record most of this season, saying that, look, with this team, would Bugner have done any worse? I don't think so.
But Bugner wasn't Mike Greer's guy.
Yeah. No, and I get that. I totally understand that. But again, it doesn't negate the point that I'm making. Like there were some people that were just, oh, Quinn, he's going to be, he's going to be able to get more out of this team than Bugner, and he's not going to do some of these stupid deployments. And yet we saw some
we've seen some pretty dumb shit.
Yeah, we've seen some dumb shit deployed in overtime. So that's why I kind of go, I don't. Hey, if they want to pay off the final year of Bugner's deal without him coaching here, and they want to bring in somebody else, sure, knock yourself out, dude. Hey, it's your money.
Yeah, I have no sympathy for Bob. I don't think Bob Bugner's a particularly good head coach.
But I don't think it was horrible. I think there's worse. I think there's better.
You could always do worse.
Yeah, but I think Bugner was I think Bugner was he's one of those guys, solid assistant. Like, here's your focus, defense. Focus on that.
Yeah,
he's great.
He's a great assistant coach, for sure. I think
great assistant. But it's it's like you look at the guys that what is it? The some of the best players ever to play, like Gretzky or whatever, Patrick Waugh, some of the worst coaches.
Correct. Yes, because I have a theory on that. So I think goalies are just head cases in general. I think the reason why a guy like Gretzky wouldn't make a good coach, I think star players generally don't, because they don't have to work to be good. They just are.
Well, or it's the fact that it's like, why can't you do what I did when I was
right?
In the league?
Yeah, exactly. Like they just things that other players would have to actually put a lot of work in to do.
Dude, it was so easy for me to score 920 goals. What's your problem?
Right, exactly. I think it's hard for a guy like Gretzky, who just was always, he was just good. And I'm not saying Gretzky didn't work to become good and everything, but obviously, if you look at a guy like Gretzky, McDavid, Lemieux, Crosby, those guys, they're just good because they're good. Yes, of course they work there, but there's also an element of just natural aptitude that you can't teach.
Yeah, you're just born with it. And two things when I say that. First off, of course, is let's really hope that Bedard becomes part of that group and ends up wearing teal.
And ends up wearing teal.
And I'm just going to allude to it. I'm not going to straight out say it, but I'm going to dive back to something we were talking about 90 minutes ago is Ian just said, you're born with it. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Yeah. Fucking right.
So with that, you can follow him on Twitter at Ian Blogs Hockey. You can follow me
but don't at me about shit I was talking about earlier, man, because I ain't responding.
You can at me or follow me. Well, no, don't at me. You can follow me. Don't at me. At AJ_strong. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you know what? And we've been going so long and just chatter boxes. I even forgot to even hit the little subscribe thing. But you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave your take in the comment section of this video below if you were not able to join us live. Remember to check out our post-game podcast. That's right. Edmonton, Vancouver, and Calgary this week. And you know what? Some combination of Puck Guy, Ian, Landy, Dana, and Mark, they're going to take care of you and chat all about it
If you're a vegan, you can at me. That's fine. If you're a vegan,
there you go. Vegans can at
me.
him. If you suck down the avocado, there you go.
If you're a vegan, you can at me. If you are homophobe, just fuck off.
Yeah. So with that, again, as we always say, you can find links to our social media, podcast apps, and more. They're always included in the show notes, and you can get everything on tealtownusa.com until Ian decides to blow that shit up. If you'd like access to our VIP Discord party, in where I am the merciless target of endless memes, hit up Hockey Jerk on the Twitter machine, hockey_jerk.
Hit up hockey_jerk. He has the keys to the Discord.
Oh man. And he I don't want to say he provokes the memes that are directed in my direction, but I don't want to say that he's not. I'm not saying
he definitely doesn't try to prevent them.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's not into it. And I will also point out to the fact that on the rundown, he dipped in here for about 10 minutes. Maybe about 40 minutes ago. I saw him dip in. I'm like, dude, what are you doing there? So
just making sure I don't piss on the carpet. It's fine. I get it.
Yeah, he's making sure his seat is warm by you.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Thank you so much. Hope you guys had an amazing St. Patrick's Day. Hope you guys have an amazing week. We will catch you all next Sunday after a few more Sharks games this week. We'll catch you next Sunday, same bat time, same bat channel, 7 o'clock. And we really hope for you know what I really want to say before we dip?
Okay.
I want to really welcome in the people that joined us using Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, because this is a new thing that we tried tonight. Hopefully it's something that we'll be able to do more and more. But I thought this was really cool. I was afraid it wasn't going to work, but somehow it did. But remember, YouTube is the venue that actually helps get us a couple bucks so we can keep this Dog and Pony show commercial free.
Although if you do follow us on Twitter, we can get subs at some point. So
no, Twitch.
Twitter, not Twitch. Yes, I'm sorry. Too many T's.
Yeah. So if y'all, for those of you joining us right now, if y'all have the Twitch account, if you could make sure you follow our Teal Town USA Twitch, it would certainly benefit us in the long run. Yes. So we thank you very much for listening and hanging out with us Sunday. We will catch you next Sunday. The only question I have for you at this point is, do you know what an Irish exit is?